So just a few hours ago in my last video, I showed you a post made by Ono Italics where he's starting to propose that the likelihood of us seeing Microsoft's expansion go into Windows ecosystem is, high. Apparently, he put a post that he posted since 2017. He says, bingo, the Xbox, isn't a console anymore. In my opinion, they're moving to an ecosystem. Sony has 60 million units. Windows 10 is on track for many more. That's crazy that all the way back in 2017. In fact, I'm just looking at the date and I'm like, that's crazy. However, we already see some comments like this one over here. Games won't run well on Windows OS. Now, I put this comment front and center just so that you can see what I think will be probably the next goalpost shift or the next console war talking point already starting to rear its head. Now, yes, Windows has all of its problems, all of its issues and everything. However, with all its problems and all of its issues that it has, I don't think that I've ever heard anybody say Windows games won't run well on Windows OS. Now, you could beat on Windows 11, you can beat on Windows 10 or whatever, but you have to realize that on the Xbox Series consoles, it's a version of Windows that's actually running on there. So we're not even on the desktop version yet. We're just looking at the Xbox as a console itself. And to listen or hear somebody even say something like that is just quite asinine. Seeing as the Xbox console and the way everything has been streamlined, which is layered with a Windows operating system with quick resume and all of that, you have to say that, if there's no nuance put here and we wanted to break down the nuance, we could say that that is a statement of absolute horse dung. The second piece of the whole conversation too is that when you kind of think about the desktop side in terms of Windows, the problems that you'll encounter are quite minimal. I see a lot of people say, well, man, when a PC is working, it's working great. But whenever I have to update drivers and do all this stuff, and that's when I start laughing because I know that many of these people have not touched a PC in a long time. You can ignore your driver updates if you want. You can automate them if you want. You don't need them to game. For the most part, a stable driver update is going to run your games well. Now, you may think I'm crazy. Like, why would he say that? Well, I haven't updated my drivers in a minute. Let me show you. I think the last time I updated my drivers for my GPU was last year in November. AMD Adrenalin had the 24 if you're looking at it here, you'll see it. The 24.12 drivers, and now they have the 25.31. Okay. Good for you guys. Everything that I'm playing so far, nothing has had any problems. So I maintain and I just keep the stable driver that I've been using all that while. If I wanted though, I could go ahead and say, hey, you want to automatically download the driver updates for me by selecting an update driver, an option to pretty much always update my drivers on the AMD Adrenalin interface. If I was using NVIDIA's own interface with their new NVIDIA app, I'll do the same thing too. And it will download my updates as, automatically as well. For my NVIDIA drivers, I almost always forget those ones. It's not, I come back, I'm like, man, it's been like 6 months. I didn't even bother with the driver update. And I play whichever game is there because the driver updates can, when you get a stable version, you can game or play whatever you want. It really is not rocket science. People make it seem like, oh my gosh, is this really, really bad thing that you must always do and slave over? But it's all just people being facetious at the end of the day. Most of the time, a lot of these folk don't know anything about the PC ecosystem or the PC platform. So now they're going to skip the whole line and then now start to lambast on the Windows operating system because you know what, right? The news about Xbox going ahead to now, get OEMs to make handhelds that are branded Xbox is going to come out. So there's going to have to be a new narrative now to downplay, Xbox in that light, but now they're going to move it to Microsoft, which is really going to be fun and funny because if this particular, device is worth its salt, it might allow for you to be able to run, different distros of Linux on there as well, which would then make things really, really weird. Now, some people responded because it was actually very interesting to go ahead and see this level of mental gymnastics that they're trying to play at the end of the day. It's just so weird because what we've seen is not necessarily just say, Windows having a problem. The problem that we've seen is developers not optimizing their games very well. Like if you go back and look at, say, and let's run through my gaming library here because I think it's very important that we do this. Let's think about, say, the games that I was very keen on playing when I first came, to the PC platform, when I first returned to the PC platform. Arkham City, Arkham Origins, Arkham Knight, and Batman Arkham Asylum. When I moved back to PC, these games were on my mind, and I played all these games. And believe you me, they all ran perfectly well, 60 FPS based on the machine that I had. Arkham Knight launched busted on PC. That was an Iron Galaxy, thing. I think they were the port makers. And then it took a while. They pulled the game, and then, Rocksteady had to come back and fix it. But this has always been a developer problem. It's never been the platform. There are things that these developers have been doing. For instance, if you look at Monster Hunter World, if you look at Rise of Ronin, like using the Nouveau anti-tamper, these things have been affecting their games, and these developers don't want to go ahead and touch them. They don't want to remove them from their games. They want to keep anti-tamper on there and all this stuff, and it's been affecting their performance, and in some cases, they're not even doing a good job in optimization, because if we go back to games like Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor on PC, Middle-earth Shadow of War on PC, these games run pristine. No problems at all. No problems at all. But I guarantee you, you bring out a game today with these developers and these publishers all trying to rush to go to the market, it's insane. The way you're going to see that game perform very poorly. If we even look at some, legacy PlayStation titles like God of War 2018, pristine title, no problems at all. Running on Windows via Steam, no problem. Again, these folk are going to go ahead and, put themselves in a bind and an argument that they're not going to be able to argue their way out of. Marvel Spider-Man 2018, pristine, runs flawlessly on PC. Miles Morales runs flawlessly on PC as well. Game like Guardians of the Galaxy, flawlessly. Call the game. Horizon Forbidden West, Horizon Zero Dawn, flawless when it's running on, Windows. So again, these folk are going to go put themselves in a really weird situation where they're not going to be able to back out of the argument. And it's going to pretty much expose more of the joke that they already are. Because I can almost start seeing it now. They're going to start coming. Windows sucks. It doesn't, because again, yes, Windows has its drawbacks. It has its challenges and problems. But they're going to now want to use that as their next entryway. Watch out for them. I'm already basically calling it out, because that's what they're going to do. They're going to make it seem like, man, Windows is so... I even see some people constantly doing that. They're like, man, Windows is so bad. It does this, it does that. I'm like, bro, Windows has had its issues for many years, but don't sleep on this operating system, because I think it's probably one of the best operating systems that you can get your hands on. You can install it on any machine that is compatible with it, that you put together with your hands. Go try it out with Mac OS. You can't even find it. Apple has made strides and put more effort in ensuring that you can't just go ahead and get a Mac OS running on a PC or on a computer of your choice over the years, that people have basically forgotten about, those Hackintoshes that people used to do back in the day, or attempt to do, because it was just so weird and inconsistent. So people went ahead and said, man, screw Apple. We're just going to basically find our way through an operating system. You can run virtual machines on here. You can do all kinds of really fun stuff. And you could do it all without giving Microsoft a dime. Yeah, please, by all means, bury yourself in this hole of a false argument that you're trying to portray and see exactly how that works out for you. Games won't run well on Windows OS. Wow. Y'all are kind of bold, though, the way that you guys go ahead and claim stuff. Well, thumbs up to you. Good luck, though. Let's see how that argument's going to fare. I'm hoping that, it propagates more and more so that we can kind of examine it under light. Thanks for watching the video, guys. Talk to me in the comment section. Appreciate your time and audience. Peace out.